My name is Chloe, and I have always been an adventurer at heart. But on that chilly autumn night in Chicago, I would wish I had never booked that Airbnb. The promise of a cozy nook in the host's words would turn into something quite different. Upon arriving at the address, my fiancé, Adam, and I were intrigued and a bit suspicious of the place. The apartment was in the basement of an old building. The windows were large, letting in daylight, but there was something dark about the atmosphere, an almost palpable feeling that we were not alone. The photos didn't quite capture the place, I remarked as we stepped inside. The apartment was spacious, with high ceilings and creaky wooden floors, but there was something unsettling about the decor. The walls, painted in a dark shade, seemed to absorb the light, and the heavy curtains blocked the view outside, creating a claustrophobic feel. As we walked through the apartment, I felt a constant chill at the back of my neck. Maybe the host values privacy, Adam suggested, noticing my worried glance. I agreed, although a persistent sense of discomfort remained. As we explored the apartment, I noticed something peculiar. "Wait," I said, stopping in the living room. "The photos only showed 2 doors here, but there's a third one." Adam furrowed his brow, examining the room. "You're right. That extra door is intriguing." My curiosity was piqued, but we decided to leave the exploration for later. As night fell, the apartment seemed even gloomier and more mysterious. Shadows danced on the walls, and the wind howled outside, making the windows rattle. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. As we prepared for bed, I heard a soft noise coming from the kitchen. I peered out of the bedroom and saw Adam rummaging through the fridge. "I can't sleep," he murmured, noticing my presence. "Let's explore a bit. I'm curious about that extra door." My heart raced, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Together we ventured into the living room, lighting our way with the glow from our cell phones. I opened the first door, revealing an ordinary bedroom. The next was a bathroom, with vintage tiles and a clawfoot tub. All normal so far, but then I spotted a third door, partially hidden by the heavy curtain. My heart pounded as I pulled the handle. The door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase leading downward. "This wasn't in the photos," I whispered, descending the steps cautiously. The air was colder here, and a musty smell filled my nostrils. Adam turned on the light, revealing a huge basement, unlike any I had ever seen. The stone walls were uneven, and the dirt floor seemed untouched for years. There was a strong, pungent odor of dampness and something else. Something metallic. "What a strange place," Adam commented, his voice echoing in the empty space. My eyes widened as I spotted chains on the floor, attached to iron rings. Several wooden doors with old locks were lined up along one wall. The place looked like something out of a horror movie. "This is disturbing," I said, my voice sounding loud in the hollow space. "Why would anyone have chains and so many locked doors down here?" Adam ran his hand through the chains, his face illuminated by the cell phone light. "Maybe the host has some weird hobby or a secret business." A shiver ran down my spine as I heard a muffled sound, as if something was moving behind one of the doors. "Did you hear that?" I asked, my heart pounding. Adam frowned, his expression turning worried. "What the hell is that?" The sound repeated, a faint scratching coming from one of the doors. My entire body was on alert, and a sense of impending danger washed over me. "There's something down here," I said, my voice trembling. "Something or someone." Adam moved in front of me, his protective instinct kicking in. "Let's get out of here. This isn't right." And we turned to climb the stairs. But at that moment we heard a loud noise, as if something heavy had been knocked over. The door behind us trembled on its hinges. My heart was in my throat as I raced up the stairs. Adam was right behind me, his face set in determination. We reached the apartment breathless, the sound of our footsteps echoing in the confined space. Once inside, we paused to catch our breath, our eyes meeting. "What the hell is going on here?" I asked, my voice reflecting my fear. Adam shook his head, his eyes scanning the room for answers. "I don't know, but we need to get out of here now." We hastily gathered our belongings and left the apartment, the sound of our footsteps echoing in the corridor. The cold night air hit us as we stepped outside, and we leaned against each other, trying to catch our breath. "What was that?" I asked, my body still trembling. Adam shook his head, his eyes mirroring the same fear I felt. "I don't know, but we're not sticking around to find out." We ran down the street, seeking a safe place to hide. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, and I couldn't get the image of the chains and locked doors out of my head. Finally, we stumbled upon a cafe that was still open and sat in a corner, trying to process what we had just experienced. "Do you think someone was trapped down there?" I asked, my heart still racing. Adam sighed. "I don't know, but we're not calling the police. We don't want to get involved. Let's just leave Chicago and forget this ever happened." My instinct told me to agree, but a part of me wanted answers. Who was the host? Why was there a secret basement? And what, or who, was locked behind those doors? Unfortunately, we would never find the answers. We caught the first train home the next day, trying to leave the scary experience behind. But at night, when I close my eyes, I still see the secret basement and hear the chilling sounds. That Airbnb would haunt my dreams for a long time. It was supposed to be just another night in an Airbnb during my European vacation. But from the start, something felt odd about that apartment in Rome. The front door had not one, but 5 different locks. I looked intrigued, thinking that perhaps the host was a bit paranoid about security. However, when I saw the windows, I realized that the bars on them were not merely decorative. They were strong, solid, and clearly meant to keep people out or in. I, Claire, and my partner, Josh, had booked the place for just one night. We were traveling through Europe, and like many travelers, we relied on Airbnb to find affordable accommodations. The listing for the place had seemed promising. Cozy apartment in the heart of Rome, perfect for couples. Authentic experience in a vibrant neighborhood. When we arrived, the neighborhood did feel vibrant, but not necessarily in a good way. The apartment was on the ground floor of an old building, on a narrow, busy street. The noise from the traffic and crowds was constant, but the place seemed spacious and well-decorated. "What a find!" Josh exclaimed, throwing his backpack on the floor and flopping onto the comfortable sofa. 5 stars for this place for sure. I wasn't quite convinced. There was something about the atmosphere of the place that made me uneasy. Maybe it was the numerous locks on the door, or the bars on the windows, which seemed to indicate that something or someone needed to be kept out or in. "Do you think this place is safe?" I asked Josh, voicing my concerns. "I mean, why would anyone need so many locks and bars?" Josh laughed and shook his head. "To keep people like us out, probably. Relax, love. We're in Rome. Let's enjoy our stay and explore the city. We might even get to meet some of the neighbors later." Josh always had a way of seeing the positive side of things, which was one of his qualities that I admired the most. I, on the other hand, had always been more cautious, tending to analyze the details for potential problems. It was a balance that usually worked well for us. But on that night, the tension in the air seemed to exaggerate our differences. It didn't take long for me to find out why the locks and bars were necessary. We were having dinner, a homemade meal we had prepared in the small but well-equipped kitchen, when we heard a noise at the front door. It sounded like someone was trying to open the locks, one by one. Josh and I looked at each other, surprised. "Were you expecting guests?" I asked, a little worried. "Of course not," Josh replied, getting up to check. "It must be the wind or something." But as he approached the door, the noises stopped. Josh unlocked the locks and opened the door a crack. To our astonishment, there was a woman on the other side, staring intently at us. She looked to be in her early 30s, with dark hair and an intense gaze. "Can I help you?" Josh asked, confused. The woman didn't respond immediately. Instead, she just kept staring at us, her eyes moving from Josh to me, and then back to Josh. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and hoarse. "Sorry, I think I got lost. I'm looking for John's apartment. He rents out a room here in the building." I exchanged a quick glance with Josh, who seemed as confused as I was. "John?" he repeated. "No, you must have the wrong place. This is number 12. John's apartment must be on another floor. The woman hesitated for a moment and then slowly nodded. Sorry, I must have gotten confused. Thank you anyway. She turned to leave, but then turned back, her gaze now piercing into our souls. Be careful, she whispered, before disappearing into the darkness of the corridor. I shivered at her enigmatic warning. Who was that woman, and why did she seem so concerned about our safety? That was odd, Josh commented, closing the door and locking it again. Maybe she was looking for drugs or something. This place might not be as nice as we thought. My unease only grew as the night went on. Every strange noise, the creaking pipes, the wind howling through the window cracks made me jump. Josh, absorbed in a book he had found on the shelf, seemed oblivious to my growing anxiety. Have you noticed that there's not a soul on the street? I asked, interrupting his silence. It's almost like this place is depressing, Josh suggested, looking around. Yeah, it's a bit gloomy, I agree. But who knows, maybe it's like this because it's a Monday night. I sighed, unable to shake the feeling of discomfort. I think it's more than that. It's almost like this apartment is a magnet for something sinister. Josh smiled, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Come on, don't start imagining things. This is just an Airbnb, not a horror movie set. However, my concerns only heightened when, for the third time that night, we saw shadows passing by the barred windows. People were looking in, their faces obscured by the darkness. What the hell do they want? I murmured, moving closer to the window. Josh joined me, his smile now completely gone. I don't know, but it doesn't look good. Maybe we should call the host and ask if he knows anything. Before we could discuss it further, a loud sound made us turn. Someone was trying to force the door open. What the hell? Josh exclaimed, his eyes wide with surprise. We rushed to the door and Josh quickly unlocked the locks. Opening the door, we were confronted by a hooded figure who immediately fled into the darkness of the corridor. Hey! Josh shouted, chasing after the mysterious figure. My heart was pounding as I ran after Josh. Wait, I don't think it's safe. Josh stopped in the corridor, his breath ragged, matching mine. This is crazy. Who the hell are these people? We returned to the apartment, locking all the locks, and spent the rest of the night on alert. Barely sleeping, every noise made us jump, wondering if someone was trying to break in again. We should leave, I whispered to Josh, who was awake, staring at the door. It's obviously not safe here. He nodded, his eyes reflecting the same fear I felt. Yes, I think you're right. Let's get out of here at dawn. I don't want to spend another minute in this place. We barely waited for the sun to rise before we started packing our things, eager to escape the gloomy apartment. The host, who had not responded to our messages so far, seemed to have disappeared. When we finally left, relieved to be unharmed, we saw a group of people across the street, watching our apartment. They seemed to be lurking, their expressions somber. What the hell is this? Josh muttered, gripping my arm. Do they have been waiting for us? We ran away, our hearts pounding, and didn't look back. It wasn't until later, when we were safe in a cafe, that we finally relaxed enough to discuss what had just happened. That was surreal, Josh said, still visibly shaken. Who were those people? Why were they watching us? I shook my head, still confused. I have no idea. But something very strange is going on in that apartment. I feel like there's a mystery here, something we couldn't quite understand. Our experiences that night remained an enigma. Later, we found out that the apartment had been the scene of several strange incidents in the past, including mysterious break-ins and reports of people feeling watched. We never discovered the truth behind those disturbing events, but one thing was certain. Our stay in that haunted Airbnb was one of the scariest experiences of our lives. Surprise! Exclaimed my best friend Aurora with a radiant smile. To celebrate my wedding tomorrow, the family arranged a slumber party for us bridesmaids at an Airbnb. Isn't it awesome? Coraline smiled back, but my enthusiasm was tempered. The idea of spending the night before the wedding at an unknown Airbnb made me a little nervous. However, Aurora's excitement was contagious, and I didn't want to dampen the fun. Of course, it sounds amazing, I agreed, joining the other bridesmaids in their enthusiastic applause. Where is this mysterious place? One of the other bridesmaids, Luna, explained. It's a lovely apartment downtown. A family friend of Aurora's, Mr. Johnson, is the host. He kindly offered the place to us as a wedding gift. The apartment we found was spacious and elegantly decorated. Located in a vibrant, lively neighborhood, it seemed like the perfect setting for our night of fun and wedding preparation. I can't wait to relax and get ready for the big day tomorrow, Aurora said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Let's make this an unforgettable night. The evening started well, with laughter and lively conversations as we enjoyed snacks and drinks. During these chats, Aurora shared stories from her childhood, bringing back memories of our past adventures and reinforcing how close our friendship had always been. However, as midnight approached, a subtle shift occurred in the atmosphere. The lights seemed dimmer, casting odd shadows on the walls, and an uncomfortable silence descended upon us. Let's play a game of guessing each other's nightmares, suggested Luna, her smile a bit nervous. It might be fun and help us relax before the wedding. Coraline, hesitated. I'd always been prone to vivid nightmares, and the idea of bringing them up didn't appeal to me. However, I didn't want to spoil the fun. One by one, we shared our deepest fears. When it was my turn, I told them about a recurring dream I had, where a stranger watched through the window as a malevolent presence slowly crept up on me. When I finished, I noticed that all the bridesmaids looked disturbed, especially Aurora. Oh my God, Coraline, she said, her eyes wide. I've had a similar nightmare recently. Someone watching me through the window, but I couldn't see their face. A chill ran down my spine. Really? When did you have this dream? Actually, it was last night, Aurora admitted, her voice trembling. And it wasn't the first time. I've had disturbing dreams about this apartment before, but I brushed them off, thinking it was just wedding stress. The conversation died down, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Coraline, lay awake in bed, staring into the darkness of the room. The nightmare was still fresh in my memory, leaving me agitated and restless. The feeling of being watched persisted, even while awake. I turned onto my side, facing the window. The moon shone through the curtains, casting patterns of light and shadow on the wall. My heart raced as I thought of someone out there watching me. And then I saw her, a shadowy figure standing on the street, staring directly at the bedroom window. My blood ran cold. I screamed, waking up the other bridesmaids. What is it? Aurora asked, rushing into the room, followed by Luna. Are you okay, Coraline? There. I pointed to the window, my body trembling. There was someone out there looking in. Luna ran to the window, pulling aside the curtains. There's no one there? She said, her voice confused. Did you have another nightmare? I sat up in bed, my heart still pounding. No, I was awake. I saw someone out there. Aurora sat down on the bed next to me, taking my hand. Coraline, maybe you're still drowsy. Let's try to calm down and get back to sleep. The wedding is tomorrow, and we need to be rested. I tried to relax, but the fear persisted. It was 3 a.m. when I finally gave in to sleep, still feeling that something was very, very wrong. The next morning I woke with a start, sensing that something was amiss. The room was quiet, and the other bridesmaids were still asleep. I slowly got up, feeling a sense of urgency. Something wasn't right. And then I remembered the previous night, the nightmare, and the shadowy figure on the street. I rushed to the window, pulling aside the curtains, and my heart stopped. Out on the sidewalk stood the same hooded figure, her eyes fixed on the bedroom window. I screamed, alerting the other bridesmaids. Aurora and Luna woke with a start, their faces reflecting confusion and fear. What's going on? Aurora asked, her eyes still sleepy. The figure, she's there, I said, pointing to the window. The same person I saw last night. Luna rushed to join us, looking out the window. My God, you're right. Who the hell is she? Alarmed, we called the police, explaining the situation. The officers arrived promptly and approached the mysterious figure, who turned out to be a homeless man with mental health issues. He had fixated on the apartment, believing it belonged to him. The situation was scary, but also a relief. The apartment itself wasn't cursed. It was just an unfortunate series of events. The man was taken away to receive help, and we finally managed to relax. The wedding day arrived, and Aurora was radiant in her white dress. Despite the disturbing events of the previous night, we managed to enjoy the ceremony and reception. Aurora and I exchanged meaningful glances during the celebration, knowing that our friendship had grown even stronger after the experience. However, the experience left its mark on me. I, Coraline, always skeptical of Airbnb horror stories, now had my own chilling tale to tell. And although the danger had passed, the memory of the shadowy figure watching me through the window would stay with me for a long time. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, you won't want to miss this next one. Click now and I'll see you there.